Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Yes, it's that bloody boat game again, and about time too, I hear, well, quite a few of you say. The last time I did a World of Warships video was the Pan-Asian Premium Destroyer review, the An Shan and the Lo Yang. Good ships. One distinctly better than the other, but neither of them bad ships. Anyway, today, this is Friesmeister in the mighty, mighty Congo, the battleship that was born in Britain and educated in Japan. What you talking about, Jingles? I appreciate most of you are probably aware of the history of this ship, but I do feel kind of obliged to go over it every time I post a Congo replay, because not everybody who's watching this video is going to have seen my channel before. The Congo, Japanese battlecruiser, originally a Japanese battlecruiser built in Britain. Based on the British Lion-class battlecruisers, but only the first of the class was built in Britain. The Japanese took the engineering know-how that they learned from observing the British building this ship, and they built 3 others of the same class back in Japan. And then between the 2 world wars, this ship was heavily modified and upgraded until it became a true battleship rather than a battlecruiser. So yeah, Britain, not content with selling top-secret jet engines to the Russians after the Second World War, they've been basically building most of the Japanese Navy prior to both World Wars. Reminds me a lot of the old Bill Hicks stand-up comedy routine about America arming Iraq. To be fair, it wasn't just America though, was it? All kinds of British companies kept trying to sneak weapons to them through the embargo. France built their air defence system, and then the Allies went in and dismantled it all for them. And of course, you know, they received a not inconsequential number of tanks from Russia as well. That's all very well and good, Jingles, but what's it got to do with the Congo? There be a method to my madness. It's kind of like Britain and Japan. Imperial Japanese Navy? Oh, you don't want to mess with them, old boy. Fearsome ships. Absolutely devastating. What do you mean, how do we know? Well, we checked the receipts. but as soon as that check clears, we're going in. What time do the banks open on Monday? 8 o'clock? Right, 9 o'clock Monday, we're going in. That's right, old boy, the British Empire, arming the world's most barbaric and bloodthirsty militaries since the 1800s. Now, what's going on here? Looks like he's having a bit of an altercation with a St. Louis, who didn't appear to want to get out of his way. Top tip, if you're in a St. Louis and there's a Congo turning around in order to fire its guns at ships that are twice the range of the maximum range of your guns away, one way or another, you're going to get out of his way. He's a much bigger ship than you. He can push you around all he wants. Not terribly sporting of him, but there's ships over there that are sailing dangerously close to engagement range, and the Congo wants to sink these buggers before they can bring their guns to bear on him. Well, there was nothing wrong with the aim on that shot. Some of the shots fell short, some of them went long, some of them went left, some of them went right. All of them bracketed the target. It was a well-aimed series of shots, and what the hell is this guy doing? Is he sailing backwards? He must have run aground. That's going to make him an easy target. But, well, you know, it's kind of like playing artillery in World of Tanks. You can aim up as carefully and accurately as you want, but in a battleship, once you pull the trigger, what happens next is beyond your control. You know, I heard talk, and I can't say whether or not this is true, it's purely a rumour, this is just idle speculation, but I did hear people talking that Wargaming were considering turning World of Warships into an esport. No, really. What? No! No! With the amount of RNG? No! Just... sorry. Oh, no. And again, this is just a rumour. I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but... well, can you imagine what an esport version of World of Warships would be like? Can you imagine the commentary? And the game's come down to one-on-one. It's 2 battleships squaring off against each other. Noob Killer versus Shadow Fox. And Noob Killer has all the aces up his sleeve. He still has all the health remaining on his ship. Shadow Fox only has 3,000 health remaining, and he has used all of his consumables. Surely this is the end for Shadow Fox, as Noob Killer lets rip with a full salvo of 14-inch armour-piercing shells. Yes, Brian, it looks like the end for Shadow Fox. Oh, and every single one of his shots is missed! I must say, Brian, I didn't see that one coming. And Shadow Fox is about to return fire on 3,000 health with only 5 of his 8 guns still in action. And oh, 5 Citadel penetrations! Noob Killer is out of here! World of Warships, Brian. It's a funny old game. Yeah, no. Sorry, it wouldn't be World of Warships, it'd be World of RNG. Or at the very best, it'd be World of Destroyers, because that's all anybody would play. It'd be like last season's Wargaming League Grand Final, just light tanks everywhere. Because why play anything other than the most stealthy unit in the game? And so it would just be World of Destroyers. Speaking of Citadel penetrations, Freezemeister's just scored his first. But don't worry, there's plenty more where that one came from. So the Kawachi that he just citadeled is coming under shell fire from a friendly Phoenix, and that's why he's burning. Phoenix is basically peppering him with high explosive. However, he slowed the ship down now, so he doesn't want to sail into range of the guns of all of those, because most of the enemy team is up in front of him. He wants to finish that Kawachi off. There's a whole mess of enemy ships around that side. And over here, there's about to be one less. There's his first kill. So, who's he going to go for next? There's only 2 enemy ships behind him. There are 2 battleships, 2 cruisers and a carrier that we know of up in front of him. South Carolina over there. He's taken a bit of a battering, but he's still got nearly 19,000 health. So he looks around, decides to go for the South Carolina. Guns on track. South Carolina doesn't appear to be going very quickly, and he's putting some firing on the cruisers over on his flank. Shots out. There they go. And nothing. Not one hit. Well, to be completely fair, it looked like the South Carolina did start to pick up a bit of speed, so it's likely that all of those shots overshot. But it would be nice, you know, when you've aimed perfectly in a battleship and you're rewarded by seeing your shots just land all around the target. It would be nice every now and then if, when you've aimed badly, some of those missed shots would actually hit. You know, just to make it fair. Anyway, he's going for the Wyoming, who is hugging the border like a dirty, filthy scrub lord. It's not going to save him though, because, well, World of Warships have taken steps to... Oh, hold on a minute. Anti-aircraft guns firing. We'll get back to this Wyoming in a moment, who is taking a beating. Check this out. Smart move from the friendly carrier, using Freezemeister's anti-aircraft guns, which are pretty formidable on the Congo, to beat off the pursuing fighters that are chasing him. Meanwhile, Freezemeister has reloaded, and he's taken a second punt at that South Carolina, who's used his repair consumable and now has 22.5, who until just now had 22,500 health, and now he's a smoking wreck, sinking to the bottom of the ocean. 3 hits from 8 shots fired, 3 Citadel penetrations. Boom, headshot. And his team needed the kill because, well, until he sank that South Carolina, it was 7 ships against 5. But hang on a minute. Enemy cruiser, very, very lightly armoured cruiser, at close range, broadside on. Come on! Oh, you beauty! Another Citadel penetration and another kill. His anti-aircraft guns haven't shut up for at least the last 2 minutes as well. He's just slaughtering enemy fighters. Those 2 enemy carriers are totally shutting down the friendly carrier, who has done as well as can be expected under the circumstances. And hang on a minute, is that guy sailing backwards? I think he is. Is this going to be his 3rd kill? It probably should be. That does look... No, once again. Perfectly aimed shot. You saw every one of those impacts scatter all around the point of aim. Not one of them went where it was... This is what it's like playing a battleship in World of Warships. World of Warships is an esport. No. To be completely fair to World of Warships, you've got to look at it from the other side of the coin. Have a look at these shots fired at this carrier, for example. Now, they are a little short, but they're not all a little short, and you can see that some of those shots did bracket the back end of the ship without actually hitting the point of aim. And, well, 17.5 kilometers away, 14-inch guns, real battleships didn't hit the target with every shot they fired either. So, you can't really complain. This is what it was like. But at the same time, you can't make an e-sport out of this. It's just... it's ridiculous. Maybe, and I'm just floating ideas here, but the way naval gunnery worked, when a battleship opened up on a target for the first time at long range, it very rarely hit. With the first salvo it fired, but the fire directors would observe the fall of shot and they would issue corrections to the guns. And so the longer you fired at the same target, the more accurate your shots became. And maybe there's some kind of mileage for introducing that kind of mechanic, as far as battleships are concerned, into World of Warships. I'm just running ideas up the flagpole here, see who salutes. Because it would help avoid the kind of circumstances where, well, the last battleship video that I did where I was in the Congo, in the final example, oh hang on a minute, this looks good. This looks very good. This looks very, very, very good. It wasn't that good. But anyway, yes. When I was looking at the arpeggio of Blue Steel Congo and Miyoko, I ran into a situation where I was exchanging fire with an enemy Fuso, and I was doing everything right and he was doing everything wrong, but my shots just wouldn't hit him. I must have fired 3 or 4 salvos into this guy and did next to nothing to him, until eventually we were closing to point blank range, 3.5 kilometers away, and I fired all of my forward batteries and not one of them hit. I mean, they went left, they went right, 3.5 kilometer range, couldn't hit him. And eventually I had to ram him to kill him, and it was very satisfying, but faintly ridiculous at the same time. Oh, hang on, this Omaha's gotten dangerously close. Dangerous for him, not dangerous for... There it is. He's avoided the dive bomber strike. I think it was a dive bomber strike. And again, his anti-aircraft guns have just been blazing away for the last 5 minutes, but you don't want to be getting this close to a battleship, especially not a Congo when you're in an Omaha. And he's got nowhere to go. He's being shot at from the front. He's starting to turn, but there's not enough space for him to turn. Friesmeister shortens the aim to take into account the change of direction, and that is, yeah, there was a kind of grim inevitability about that one. And it's now down to 3 ships on each side, although the enemy team has the points advantage because they control 2 of the capture zones to Friesmeister's 1. And he just keeps shooting down enemy fighters. What I think has happened here is one of those 2 enemy carriers had a fighter loadout, and now that the friendly carrier is dead, he's got nothing to do with his fighters. So he's using them, well, he's basically losing them because he's got nothing better to do with them to keep Friesmeister's team spotted. And so Friesmeister's AA guns just keep chewing them up. Of course, there are 2 carriers on the enemy team. Oh, and a Wyoming-class battleship, who's managed to get some sneaky shots away. And missed with every single one of them because, hey, battleships. And Friesmeister doesn't miss. And there's yet another Citadel penetration. But the Wyoming is now safely round the corner of that island. Now, choices. Torpedo bombers coming in, enemy carrier spotted. But battleship sailing around the island on the left. You don't really have much of a choice under this sort of circumstance. You've got to turn to face the torpedo bombers. And while he's turning like this, it's making it harder for him to get his guns brought to bear. There they are, and here come the dive bombers as well. Oh, and he scored a hit, and there's the Confederate award. But turning the ship while trying to turn the guns in the other direction makes it much, much harder to get the guns pointed at the target. But he manages to get some shots off. And where are those? Who are the torpedo bombers going for? Surely they're going for him. He's managed to score another hit on the carrier. And here come the dive bombers. Anti-aircraft guns just shifted fire. I think they're directly overhead. Yeah. There it is. Oh, a very, very good dive bomber strike. And he scored another Citadel penetration. There's the high caliber award. And here come the torpedoes. And now the Wyoming is shooting at him. He's burning in 2 different places. I think he was waiting. He was saving his damage control ability to ensure that he wasn't going to get hit by those torpedoes, so he could take care of the flooding as well. Now that he knows he's safe from the torpedoes, he uses the damage control ability to set the fires, or not set the fires had been set, to extinguish the fires. Of course, now the course that he's been forced to steer to avoid running into those torpedoes means that he's broadside onto this Wyoming, and here it comes. But the Wyoming mostly misses. Now, the Wyoming is also broadside onto him. There they go. Yeah, and they didn't miss. There's another Citadel. And that Wyoming's got to be thinking, why me? Leave me alone. Right, he needs to sink this carrier because it's the torpedoes that are going to be the problem. Now he's got the armor piercing loaded. And this salvo, well, he fires 8 guns and 5 of them hit. He only does about 3,000 damage. So what I suspect happened was he didn't hit the Citadel, and those armor-piercing shells just over-penetrated. And here come the dive bombers again, and he's straightening out the angle against this Wyoming. This is good. It means the Wyoming is far, far less likely to actually score a hit on his Citadel, if he even hits him in the first place. Here come the fighters and the dive bombers, and they've set him on fire again and done a lot of damage. That's a very, very well aimed dive bomber strike from the captain of the boat over there, but the Wyoming didn't learn his lesson the first 2 times. And he Citadels him yet again. Seriously, battleship drivers. I don't care if you are in a battleship, stop sailing broadside on to other battleships. No good will come of it. Well, he's burning from stem to stern, but only the 2 carriers to take care of, and surely this bogue is not going to stay lucky forever. Shots out. Come on. Another Citadel. Yes! Look at chat. They can't believe it either. Man, what a game. Oh, and the fires are out. And he didn't have to use the damage control ability. The crew put the fire out for him. He's lost a lot of health, but it's highly unlikely that the enemy Langley, who was almost certainly using a fighter loadout... Oh wait, no, he did have at least 1 squadron of torpedo bombers, but no. No, sorry, not even close. And there he is. So this is pretty much all over bother shouting. Sadly, I don't actually have the post-battle results screen for this match, so I don't know exactly how much damage Friesmeister did during the course of this battle, but I think if you go through and just add up all the Citadels that he did, you'll come to a figure that roughly corresponds to a metric fuck-ton of damage. And he's not done yet. He's got a Langley to sink. And there's another Citadel. So, jeez, man, just it's like kicking puppies at this point. There he is in chat. Ramming speed. It would have been so good if he had actually rammed this guy to death. I mean, he wouldn't have survived, but he would have at least... I think that if you finish off the last ship on the enemy team by ramming them, you should get double XP for style bonus. I mean, oh, and his secondaries have set him on fire. That's nice. He doesn't actually ram him, unfortunately. Oh, this is going to be close, but nah, not close enough. That was very close. Wow. Nicely done from the Langley. Going down fighting. Very, very... I mean, it wouldn't have sunk him, but he very, very nearly... Are the secondaries going to finish him, or is he going to get the guns reloaded? Come on. Come on. Come on. He's never going to ram him. He's going to have to fire. Otherwise, the secondaries are going to take him out. And there are the guns. Here they come. Is it going to be another Citadel? I think no. Well, what the hell? A kill's a kill. What a result. So, Friesmeister in the Congo, the world's luckiest battleship driver. And I'm not saying that in a disparaging way. I'm not trying to take anything away from the way he played, which was consistently good throughout. But I've had any number of battleship replays sent in, and they're always the same. It's like, yeah, check out all the Citadels I did in the first 4 minutes of this match. I sank 3 enemy ships and then couldn't hit the side of a barn from the inside for the remaining 10 minutes of the game. And they're all like that. But it's not often you get a battleship replay where the RNG is on your side consistently from start to finish of the match. And it doesn't happen often, but it's spectacular when it does. So that was Friesmeister in the Congo. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.